This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
For a limited time, ElderGeek.com fans can enjoy a 5% discount on purchases at Gamersgate using promo code Elder-Geek.com. The dungeon defense genre is one with quality games few and far between, as fans constantly search for the next dungeon keeper or evil genius. Can Paradox Interactive sate this hunger with Impire? Well, yeah, no, not even close.
Hell Salabim! Accio Impum! What? I did it! After 40 years of trying, I actually...
You play as Baal Abaddon, a demon lord summoned to the human realm by the bumbling evil sorcerer Oscar von Fairweather. As you aid Fairweather in settling petty scores and rising in evil power, you eventually break free from his shackles to build your own evil empire. The characters are all voiced in overdone, comical voices, with Baal himself portrayed by comedian John Pinette. The writing isn't particularly good or funny, and the fact that the character animation during cutscenes amounts to little more than head bobbling doesn't help much either. Most of your time in Empire will be spent sending squads of minions out on missions or defending your home base from randomly appearing heroes. The amount of base building you'll be doing is limited at best. You cannot choose the shape or the size of your rooms, and the entry points are predetermined. You also can't demolish rooms or hallways once they're built, and the game is wildly inconsistent when it comes to where it'll allow you to build, despite the game map being made up of nothing but uniform brown rock. Furthermore, because all the maps start with predetermined branching paths and some preset rooms, the layout doesn't always accommodate for efficient trap placement. Long story short, prepare to be extremely frustrated over standard base building features from 15 years ago being totally absent here. As you recruit a minion to your cause, you can place it into a squad of 4. Eventually, you'll recruit minions of every conceivable archetype: healers, tanks, mages, rogues, and crowd control specialists. They all work together in different ways depending on the makeup of your squad, so sorting out what units you want in your squads becomes essential. The minions all level up as they engage enemy hordes or spend time in the training arena. Once they do, they'll get a slight increase in stats, and you'll be able to equip them with advanced weapons and armor, providing you've got a functioning armory and the necessary unlocks. Unfortunately, this can be painstakingly annoying as there's no simple way to upgrade all, meaning you have to go through each and every minion and upgrade their armor and weaponry manually. To progress the main campaign, you'll have to complete missions in the tunnels, sewers, cellars, or woods immediately adjacent to your dungeon, usually boiling down to defeating a boss character of some sort. The combat is mostly hands-off. The minions will mindlessly attack anything you point at, while Baal himself has 1 or 2 underpowered active abilities. You can also tag enemy heroes that are invading your dungeon for capture, looting, or interrogation. Altogether, the combat feels uneventful and underdeveloped. Minions have a hard time focusing, opting to attack the tank closest to them rather than the healer you're pointing at. While there's some strategy involved in setting up your squad, once that's done, you basically sit back and watch as they statically attack their target. The absolutely horrible sound effects make matters even worse. The game looks alright, with cartoonishly simplified structures and character models. It's certainly not ugly, but there's nothing there that holds your attention. It does what it needs to do, facilitates gameplay. The music, on the other hand, feels disjointed and messy. Sometimes the game even bugged and played 2 different tracks on top of each other, and has a tendency to play over in-game dialogue. It can be turned off, of course, but then again, so can the game. You can, supposedly, play the game co-op with a friend, or play skirmish matches against other players online. We say supposedly because the online community for Empire is pretty much non-existent, and the few times we did find someone to play with, they either left almost immediately, or the game disconnected for some unexplained reason. Because of this, we obviously can't review the game in its fullest, so take that into consideration when deciding whether or not to go by this review. That said, the standard game isn't all that great, so we can't imagine the multiplayer being that much better. In short, Empire is a game set in a genre we absolutely adore, yet it fails in meeting even our most basic expectations. The base building gameplay is shallow and restrictive, the combat is underdeveloped and dry, the graphics are fine, but the rest of the presentation is lackluster in every way. The story tries to be funny, but ultimately only produces the occasional smirk. Lastly, it's just not a very inspiring concept, seemingly taken straight out of Dungeon Keeper's design document without any significant attempts to innovate. It's a fairly lengthy game, but we wish it wasn't, and it certainly wasn't worth the $20 asking price. Don't bother.